guys, what is going on? Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, bringing you another video. This time I'm going to be talking about Titanfall 2. This will be my review of Respawn's latest game. Was it worth the wait? Is the campaign any good? Is the multiplayer better than it was in the tech test? Well, let's start off with the campaign, because this is the one thing I have been waiting for since the original Titanfall 1. The biggest complaint I had, not only me, but a lot of people had with the original Titanfall, is that it was multiplayer only. And you guys know that I'm not a fan of multiplayer only games. It always feels like we're getting half a game, right? And I remember back when Titanfall 1 came out, I'd be sitting in party chats with my friends, namely DOA and Mr. Black Magic, talking about, and I would be like, hey, I really want a Titanfall campaign. This is the people who made Call of Duty and who made Medal of Honor. They made some great campaigns. Hell, we're gonna get to play the Call of Duty remaster, Modern Warfare, in next week. One of the best first-person shooter campaigns out there. I always thought that given enough time, enough resources, enough money, that they could make a really, really good campaign. And the prevailing thought was like, nah, you really can't, because you got the Titans and all that stuff. Well, I hope all the haters out there are silenced, because Respawn has made the best campaign out of any game so far this year that I have played. It is absolutely a joy to go through, and I just had a smile on my face from the beginning to the end. I think today alone, when I finished it, on Friday when it came out, I think I played like 2 chapters, or 2 levels, I believe they're called. And then when I got on this morning, I just marathoned the rest of the game. That is how you know a game is something special, when you don't even want to stop. I was just like, I need to see what happens next. I need to see what happens next. And this game delivered. So I beat the game on Master difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty in the game. It took me, I would say, probably between 9 and 10 hours to beat it on Master and get all the collectibles. I do have the 1,000 in the game, so I went back and got the other achievements, but on Master difficulty, I would not recommend starting it off on Master difficulty unless you're going for that achievement, because I think playing on hard, even though it's easy, it highlights what's best about Titanfall. The fast-paced parkour combat system that it has, because on Master difficulty, you'll get shot like once, twice, and you're dead. So you can't do the impressive wall running, sliding stuff that the game features. And that's what is really good about this, because you don't really get this in a lot of other games, is the ability to cloak yourself, run around, flank the enemy, throw grenades, jump, do a jump move off a wall into a slide, switching weapons and just killing everything around. It's just Titanfall, and this is to Respawn's credit, they have the best movement system out of any game on the market. It's better than everybody's. The ability to, jump onto a wall and double jump off that into a slide, back onto a wall, all the while precision aiming at enemies, it's a joy. And it's weird that nobody else has really copied them effectively. Like, I know Black Ops has that, and even the new Infinite Warfare has that stuff, but it's nowhere near as good. It's nowhere near as good, and Respawn has captured that, and they have made something special with this gameplay. So let's talk about the story. The story, it's nothing really to talk home about. The story's not important. What you're playing this game for is the set pieces, the parkour moments, which there are actually quite a lot of them, and thank God, because those parkour moments are brilliant. And then they intersperse the parkour moments, especially when you're playing as the pilot, with the combat stuff here. Like, look at this, you're above the ground on a fast-moving plane, and you're doing a parkour off of it into the next area. Like, that is badass. That's something you've never done in another video game before. And, this, of course, is only half of Titanfall, right? Because you have the pilot gameplay, and you can cloak with left bumper at any time, throw grenades with right bumper, you got the different weapons you can switch between. But the other half of the gameplay is the Titan game. When you're the Titan, how does that feel? Well, we'll be getting into that. It's about as good as it can get. Like, honestly, Respawn did such a tremendous job with this game. In this little clip we're watching right here, this is why I knew this game was something special, because it introduces time travel and the ability to switch between 2 points in time at will with left bumper. And it was at this moment that I'm like, this game knows what it's doing, and it's doing it extremely well. And like, you guys know how much I love time travel, right? I mentioned in Quantum Break how Quantum Break almost seemed like a game designed for me because of the time travel stuff. But then I get into Titanfall, and I'm thinking we're going to be parkouring, we're going to be shooting enemies and getting in Titans and wrecking havoc. And all of a sudden they introduce this mechanic where you're literally, with the press of a button, going in between past and present. And it was such an amazing concept, and it changed a lot of, at least in this chapter, because you don't get to do it that often. Like there, like you switch to past, or the present, and that force field's not there. You go through it, you get behind those two guys, and you're good. And it's such an amazing concept that the only time I've ever seen that done before is in Heroes Gemini Reborn, but not to the extent it's done here. Like that game, you could switch in between, but you really couldn't do much. This just takes it a whole other level. You're parkouring, and you have to switch in between past and present. It is such a unique concept that, like, I was kind of struggling with myself of whether or not to include this in the campaign, or to include this in the clip, because I don't know if some people would feel like this is a spoiler or whatever. But I don't really feel it's a spoiler. Like, it's just one of those moments that when I got to, I'm like, hell yeah, like, this is why this game is awesome. Because while a first-person shooter has the ability out there to switch between time on the fly while you're parkouring between 2 points. None of them. And this is just an example of why I think the campaign in this game is an absolute joy to play. There's not that much more, like, praise I can lavish on this game. It's among like the best shooter campaigns I've ever played, and I've played a lot of them, first-person shooters being my favorite genre. And when I got to this section, I'm like, all right, Respawn, like, you got me. Like, this is a shit ton of fun, and I'm really enjoying myself kicking these enemies' asses and going in between time and stuff like that. It's so much fun. Like, I couldn't believe this was in the game. I didn't really read a lot of the reviews before the game came out, so I'm sure there's some that mentioned this, but I mean, look how cool that is. Like, you're like parkouring between past and present, and oh my god, it's so cool. And I'm glad that Respawn included it, because I love time travel, and it's one of my favorite. And let's talk about the other aspect of Titanfall 2 is the Titan gameplay, right? So like I think I mentioned before that you don't want to overdo, when you're in a pacing like this, you don't want to spend too much time as the pilot or too much time as the Titan. And they actually get it pretty damn good in this game. Like, there's never parts where you're like, oh man, I wish I was back in my Titan, or oh man, I wish I was parkouring as my pilot. Like, each of the sections where you're playing as both is done extremely well. And playing as the Titan, I mean, it plays differently than with the pilot, and they included a lot of like cool new weapons. You can switch your loadouts on the fly, which is fantastic. So like, I'm playing as Ronin right now with the shotgun. Not the best for master difficulty, but I was just trying it out because I didn't really use it on master. I found the best to use on master is tone, but the ability to just switch between each of the loadouts is a godsend. And I didn't really like the idea that your health does and your shields don't regenerate. I don't like this battery stuff here. Like, I understand why they did it now, because that's how you get your health back in the campaign. So in certain areas, a Titan combat is coming up, because there'll be green canisters around, and that's how you heal yourself. And most of the levels in the game, I believe there's 9 levels in the game. There's like 5 boss fights, which you'd be going up against these mercenaries, and they each have like unique boss fight to do, and they're fun. I mean, I had a blast playing as the Titan just as much as I did with the pilots. And kudos to Respawn for getting the mixture just right. Not too much of one, not too much of the other, but kind of just perfect. But I mean, everybody else wants to know, I mean, hey, what about the multiplayer? I played the multiplayer for probably about 8 hours. It's better than the tech test for sure. It's just, playing Battlefield 1 just before this game came out made me appreciate Titanfall 2 more, to be honest with you, because Battlefield is a lot different than Titanfall. When you play a Titanfall game lasts like half an hour, 40 minutes, and when you play a Titanfall game, they're over in 5 to 6 minutes, so it was nice to kind of get in there, kill some people really fast, and get out. You know, but I'm not really a multiplayer guy. I've always said I value campaign more than I value the multiplayer in the game, and Titanfall delivered. It absolutely delivered. So for me, I'm gonna give this game a 9 on the strength of the campaign and how pretty good the multiplayer is. Not as good as Titanfall 1, but pretty good. But man, the campaign's something else. So thanks guys for checking out my review of Titanfall 2. You can follow me on Twitter or follow me on Twitch and Xbox Live and all those wonderful places. The links are in the description, and I will see you guys later. Have a good one.